There's 6 areas to everyone's financial life, yours and mine, everyone's. And then there's 5 interrelated factors that determine whether you're on track for a confident retirement. How do those 2 things fit together? What are they? I've got that and more coming up. My name is Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. That's right, there are 6 areas to everyone's financial life. And the big idea is that you need to integrate those 6, and someone needs to be operating at the intersection of those. Society sort of says, no, those are all separate. You've got your bank over here, you've got Jake from whatever, helping you with your insurance, and that's over there. You got a tax person over here, your investments are over here, you had an attorney, and they're all separate. Guys, the big idea is no, those are all connected. And when you're making financial decisions like retiring, you need to sit at the intersection of those and ensure that your decisions are bringing synergy, bringing benefit to as many of those areas as possible. It's the work of your CFP. And so there's 6 areas to everyone's financial life. And then there's 5 factors to retirement. There's a 3 bank account system. There's the 5 major risks that we all live with and need to manage. And so there's all sorts of numbers, okay? And fan of the show, Tom, reached out. I'm paraphrasing. Thanks for the video suggestion, Tom, and your listenership. Appreciate it. But he said, hey, I hear you reference the 6 areas. And I recently saw a video about the 5 factors. Can you just explain those 2, and just sort of break it down and then how they work together? So I'm going to attempt to do that right now. All right, so on the Korhorn Financial Group website, korhorn.com, the Wise Money website is there as well. But under process, you can see the process that we operate with at KFG. And if you scroll down, the 6 areas of everyone's financial life is listed right there. And yeah, this isn't our idea. This is the 6 areas that the CFP board, the Certified Financial Planning Board, says these are the 6 areas that make up everyone's financial life. We adjusted one slightly. I think it makes a little bit more sense, but this it's not a new idea. It's just it's countercultural, and not everyone operates this way or looks at it this way. The 6 areas that make up your financial life, my financial life, everyone's financial life, starts with your present financial position. And this is sort of, think about this as your cash flow and balance sheet. If you were a business, this would be your income statement and your balance sheet, okay? So your budget, if you want to call it that, your cash flow, everyone, when you make income, you can either spend it, you can give it away, you can pay debt, you can pay taxes, or you can save it. And so what are you doing with your income? And then your net worth or your balance sheet is how much do you have in assets, and breaking those down based on category. How much should you have in cash? How much do you have in cash? How much do you have set aside for retirement? What about properties? What about real assets? And then how much debt do you have? And keeping that up to date on an ongoing basis so your financial life is decisionable. It's key, right? So lots of strategies entailed in that present financial position, but that's essentially where do you stand today financially. Second area is protection planning. Most people think insurances, but really insurance is just a tool to transfer the risk. And maybe in this area of protection planning, you're self-insured, or there isn't a risk for you to transfer. This is evaluating those 5 major life risks. I just did a video on that recently, and this video would take way too long if I explained that as well. But protection planning, that's managing these big financial risks that we all are exposed to. The third area is tax planning. We talk about this all the time. That's different from tax preparation. Tax planning is strategy. What are you doing proactively to pay the least amount of tax over your lifetime, if not multiple lifetimes? And so you want to come up with those proactive ideas, and then looking at all 6 areas of your financial life, determine, well, which of those strategies make sense and which ones are just good ideas, but you shouldn't implement them. That's the third area. The fourth area is investment planning. How are your investments? What do you have saved up for in investments? And then what's the right risk level? What's the right strategy that you should be using? So what do you have? How is it structured? What strategy are you following? How do you make sure that that you're using prudent strategies and the prudent risk level for your situation, multiple strategies, if you will, for diversification, and that you stick to that over the long term? The fifth area, and we're going to go deep into this one, and that's retirement planning. College planning is in there as well, and this is basically your long-term goals. Where do you stand today? What are your goals? Where are you trying to get to? Let's chart a path to get you there, and then on an ongoing basis, let's tune in and make sure you're on track. We're going to go deeper there in just a minute. And then the sixth area of everyone's financial life is estate planning. What are your intentions should something happen to you? Either you pass away or you're unable to manage your own affairs. What are your intentions? What are the instructions? And do you have your assets and financial life set up to carry out those intentions? So those are the 6 areas of everyone's financial life. And again, I think society sets these up as separate and distinct parts, and they're not. They're not. They need to be connected. They are connected. A quick example, a decision that you make to say, I'm going to contribute to the Roth side of my 401k. Well, that's a tax decision, right? Tax planning. Sure. It's a cash flow decision, right? Because it changes your deductions and how much tax you actually pay. Absolutely it does. It's an investment decision. Your investments in a Roth might be a little bit different than the investments in pre-tax, which is the investment strategy. Of course it has retirement implications, because out there as you're living off of those dollars in the future, you're paying less tax because those withdrawals are tax-free. So it impacts your retirement plan and impacts your estate plan as well. If you pass away and there's Roth dollars compared to pre-tax dollars, those are going to be inherited in a different way and have to follow the 10-year rule. So very clearly, that just simple decision of Roth or pre-tax touches 5 out of the 6 areas of your financial life. Most people don't view it that way. All right, so those are the 6 areas, okay? That's the big idea. That's comprehensive financial planning. We call it one plan. But then within that area of retirement planning, how do you build out a plan to retire with confidence? Well, most people look at one singular variable. Well, I need $1 million to retire, or I'm going to retire at 65 because that's when I can get on Medicare, or I'm going to retire at 62 because that's when I can draw Social Security. Most people just look at a singular variable and assume that's my plan. And they miss it, because there's actually not a single variable. There are 5. There's 5 interrelated variables or 5 interrelated factors that if you're only focusing on one, then you're missing the others, and you're missing the connection between, and could end up making a very, very big mistake in the biggest financial decision that you're going to make. So within that 6 areas of your financial life, retirement planning, you've got to look at 5 factors, and of course they touch on many of the 6 areas as well. So those 5 factors are: what age do you want to be done? What's your retirement age? And this is both your ideal age, but okay, if you weren't able to achieve the ideal, what's an acceptable age? And then also life expectancy. So essentially defining how long retirement might last. That's the first factor. The second factor is what do you expect your lifestyle to be in retirement, your spending level in retirement. So it's looking at, well, what are you spending right now, but how do you think that's going to change in retirement? There are some very clear ways that you need to be aware of. What's health insurance going to cost? So what's your Medicare decision? What amount do you think you'll be paying in taxes in retirement? We can mathematically analyze that as well. And then let's throw an inflation factor on top of all that as well. And so that's retirement spending. Most people are not able to retire into the same lifestyle, standard of living that they had while they were working. And you want to be one of those individuals that you are on track to have the lifestyle that you enjoy in retirement. So that's the second. The third factor of retirement is your retirement income. What sources of income will you have, and how are you going to optimize them? The big one is Social Security. Most people think, yep, I have my Social Security, I'll turn it on right away. And that might be okay. That might be the right plan. The point is, you need to be objective about it and optimize Social Security for your situation. And then looking at a pension and looking at other sources of income, if you have them, to ensure that you optimize those as well. Fourth factor is how much do you have saved up for retirement? So how much is in your 401k, IRAs, Roth IRAs, those sorts of things. And then what are your ongoing contributions between now and retirement? And then the final factor is how much risk are you comfortable taking with those investments? And I'll use that as the launching point, right? Because those are the 5 factors. Now, connecting that to the 6 areas of your financial life. Say in your investment planning, you got nervous recently because of some volatility in the market, or maybe some upcoming volatility. You get super nervous and you say, I can't take this, I can't stomach this ride. There's no way I'll be able to retire with all this volatility, or if I keep losing. So you say, I'm going to reduce my risk to the lowest, what is T-bills and chill is sort of the phrase, or T-bonds and chill or something like that. I'm just going to get 4% in treasury bonds, and that's it. Well, that's your investment strategy. But that then has an influence, that's a factor, that's a determinant over for your retirement how much your assets can grow to out there in the future. Because I think ideally in those 5 factors, we would all want to retire as early as we can, spend as much as we can, and take as little risk as possible. Well, there's trade-offs. They're interrelated. If you say emotionally, nah, I don't want to take any risk in retirement, or I can't take any risk anymore, that might mean you need to save up more. That might mean you need to work longer. That might mean you have to spend a little bit less than what you were originally intending, right? So that risk level, that's going to influence the others. And same with age. Say you had always assumed I'm going to retire at 66 or whatever, something like that, and then there was a change with your job when you were in, around 62. You got a different boss or new technology or a new system, and you're like, this is not fun anymore. I need to be done. I want to be done. Well, working now 4 years less might mean you needed to have saved up more, or you need to spend a little bit less or take a little bit more risk. It's all interrelated. Obviously, you can see with the spending factor and the income factor in that retirement, those 5-factor retirement, that's going to connect to your present financial position, how much debt you have, your cash flow, your spending levels, that sort of thing. And obviously, tax planning, of course, the decisions you make on am I going to save up pre-tax or Roth, that's going to influence that retirement plan, that spending factor, because it's going to mean how much tax you're going to pay in retirement, which most people don't think of it this way, but that is, you're going to spend the most on taxes probably in retirement than anything else. And so being aware of that. So the 6 areas of your financial life, that's broad, that affects all of us. And then the 5 factors of your retirement for a successful retirement, that's within that retirement planning area. They absolutely connect together. Hopefully that illustrates those two, separately, but also how they work together. The big idea, you need a CFP that's bringing all 6 areas of your financial life and connecting them together so that you're making decisions that are great, not just good, great decisions, bringing synergy to all 6 areas. And then as it relates to planning for retirement, an awareness of all of those variables as opposed to just 1 or 2 or, the flashiest ones or the ones that maybe matter most to you, looking at all 5 variables to determine how do these work together and are you on track for a confident retirement? And then, of course, connecting that back to the 6 areas of your financial life so you make great decisions. I hope that helps. I know it's a lot to digest. Certainly work with your CFP on that. If you don't have a CFP on your team, you can contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with K, wisemoneyshow.com. You can find us there as well. Or give us a call, 574-247-5898. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.